It's good to have you back. Now, the recent unrest has hurt small businesses. BeyondCovid says its study found almost 90% of them have been affected. They stand to lose a staggering 3.4 billion rand per month, and they will need around 16 billion rand to recover. Now, Lings Naidoo from RedFlank joins us now this morning to tell us more about this. And we, of course, welcome him to the South African Morning. Thank you for your time, Mr. Naidoo, and good morning to you. Let's talk about the survey that you've conducted here. I mean, the latest BeyondCovid survey revealing the impact of obviously the recent unrest directly to small businesses. What does it tell us?
Violence and the strap is misspelt.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, and welcome to your listeners. I think if you look at the recent riots and the fallout in terms of the impact of business, what it indicates to us is that small businesses are very poorly set up to deal with these kinds of shocks. So as an example, we know that the impact for small businesses in terms of damage to property is quite high. So 55 billion in terms of damage to property. But if you look at the number of businesses, small businesses that actually have business insurance, on average, the percentage is 51%. If you look at the small businesses that have had damage to property, only 62% of them actually don't have business insurance, which means that they aren't going to be able to repair the damage to their properties. And if you look at the percentage of businesses that don't have, small businesses that don't have business interruption insurance, the percentage is a lot higher at 95%.
Right. So for those that can recover, because unfortunately the reality is that most businesses will not be able to recover. They won't be able to open back up. But for those who can, how much and how long will they require, will they need to at least build up back to where they were before these unrests?
So if you look at small businesses in particular, the amount that they will require, just in terms of operational funding, equates to about 16 billion rands, which is quite significant. So if you look at, government's response, the IDC as an example, has set up a relief fund of 1.5 billion. Clearly, that's a fraction of the amount that's required. In terms of the average period for businesses to recover, we're looking at about 5 months. Where there is damage to property, that period's going to be longer. It's going to be in the region of 6 to 8 months.
Right. And Lings, we can't have this conversation without thinking about, the workers, those who've lost their jobs, those unfortunately who've had to be retrenched. In terms of numbers, where are we sitting at? Because I know that generally as a country, we're sitting at over 32% unemployment rate. I'm sure this has exacerbated that number at this point.
Certainly. From a COVID perspective, if you look at the number of jobs lost by SMMEs again alone, up to about March this year, we're looking at 950,000. When we did the survey on COVID itself, small businesses were projecting to shed another 1.1 million jobs. At this stage, in terms of impacted businesses, what they are saying is the impact from the riots caused them to retrench 10% of their workers on average. SMMEs, the percentage is a bit higher at about 11%. For corporates, the number, as you would expect, is a bit lower at 7%. But overall, the country can't afford to lose any more jobs. So the impact from the riots is obviously, just adding to the impact from COVID itself.
Yeah. Is there investor confidence to come back into these communities that were directly impacted by the unrest? Is there confidence and trust to go back and rebuild and even invest more than previously before the unrest?
I guess it goes without saying that, when you have a country going up in flames, even though it's, particular isolated areas, it makes investors very nervous. As BeyondCovid, what we focus on is, how do we improve appetite for investors to put money into small businesses in particular? And in order to do that, we need to fundamentally change the dynamics for small businesses. That means small businesses working together in what we call SMME collectives, partnering with a larger corporate. What we need to do is lower the risk profile for SMMEs. Whether it's in the aftermath of COVID or in the aftermath of the riots, this is what the country needs to put jobs back on the table.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it there. And thank you so much for talking to us. And given that advice to even investors that rebuilding is quite crucial at this time, even though obviously it could be nerve-wracking. Lings Naidoo from RedFlank, a pleasure talking to you.